Hey, it's Jamie from Gilbert Farm, and today I'm going to tell you my top 3 farm clothes that I think are essential to every homestead. Alright, so let's get started. I thought about this for a while. If somebody was getting into homesteading, I wanted to come up with a list of the top 3 clothing items that I think every homesteader should own. 3 things that I think are extremely important to having a homestead and to working on a homestead, and we are going to run through them and I'm going to tell you why for each one. Alright, you ready? Number 1, gloves. You're gonna find yourself in all kinds of icky situations, touching things that you don't want to touch with your bare hands. If you have animals, you might find yourself mucking out poop, and you're not gonna want to touch that with your fingers. Trust me on that one, it stinks. If you're working in the garden, you are going to be picking bugs. That is your business. A gardener is going to be picking bugs and slugs, and guess what, guys? You're gonna be squishing them, and that's just absolutely disgusting. So yes, gloves are going to help with that. On top of that, you might find yourself picking up debris from the yard and dragging that over to a pile, a brush pile or something like that. You don't want to cut your hands on that kind of stuff. Some of this bark can be kind of heavy, so having gloves protects your hands. And last but not least, depending on where you are, at least here, we have tons of poison ivy. You might be grabbing some sort of poisonous plants, or if you have spiky amaranth like we do here, you're not going to want to grab that with your bare hands, guys. You're going to want to grab it with a pair of gloves. I think the number 1 thing that every homesteader ought to have is gloves. Now, the kind that I have, cheap sock gloves covered in latex. We had one subscriber that actually recommended these to us after one of our February gardening videos where I was complaining about how my really expensive gloves kept blowing out in the fingers. These things are about $1 per pair. We bought them on Amazon for like $12 for a pack of 12 or something like that. I'll leave the link down in the description. And these guys are totally worth it. I use them every day for all kinds of stuff. So number 1, gloves. Clothing item number 2, rain poncho. I'm not talking a rain jacket. A rain jacket's only going to come to your waist, and you're going to have sideways rain that's blowing into your boots. Guys, you need a full-on poncho that's going to cover you all the way down to the tops of your boots. So on a homestead, you guys are going to have to take care of your animals and everything else in any kind of weather. And a poncho is what you need when you got torrential rain that's pouring in and you got to go out and water the animals. You got to go feed your animals. You got to go out and check on something in the garden. Maybe. Who knows what you got going on. Maybe you're going out to gather wood. So definitely get yourself a poncho. Now, don't go cheap on ponchos, guys. You don't want to go get one of those disposable garbage bag ones that you can get at an amusement park. You want to go get yourself a real decent poncho. If you guys have access to a Army Navy store, that's the way to go. I got this one off Amazon. Has the cool benefit of somehow turning into a tent, so if I get lost between, say, the barn and my house, I can make camp. And last but not least, number 3, mucking boots. I know, totally sexy with the shorts, right? I personally find this the most important of all of the clothing that you should have on the homestead. A really good pair of boots, and ideally they should be waterproof and they should be at least knee high. Now the reason for this is if you have animals, you're going to find yourself mucking out stalls, stepping through poop, dragging out mud, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to want those on your good sneakers because it's going to go with you everywhere. Mud. No matter where you are, you're going to be walking through mud, you're going to be hauling stuff through mud, you're going to be in your garden in mud, and you're going to want to have some nice boots that are comfortable, that's going to keep the mud off your feet and keep your feet dry. Waterproof is key with this one. And snakes. High grass. If you find yourself in an area with weeds, grass, definitely having a high pair of good boots is going to prevent snake bite. Those snakes can strike pretty high, and having on a good pair of boots can help prevent you from getting any kind of snake bite. So the brand that I wear is Boggs, and I personally really love this brand. I think they're extremely comfortable, they're waterproof, they have really cool handles for pulling on the boots, really easy to slip on and slip off. Anytime I come outside, I'm just throwing them on, obviously with whatever I have on, and do my chores and kick them off at the door to go back in. Now, in full disclosure, I need to say that after having these for about 14 months, the rubber on the boots started to crack and dry rot. The rubber started pulling away from the sides. So I complained to the company, and sent me a completely new pair for free. Now to me, that speaks quality. Any company that's willing to back their product like that is good in my eyes, and I'll definitely deal with them in the future because of the way that they back their product. Now these are Marinas. Marinas are a lot lower and they're more of the stylish version of bogs. The bogs that I have are made for dairy farmers who are working in the dairy, so commercial dairies are where bogs originated, and that's the type of bogs that I have. What Marinas are more of a designer bog, and to be quite honest, they're uncomfortable as heck. At least I think so. I think they're really narrow and just uncomfortable. So just keep that in mind. These might not fit the same as my pair, but these are significantly cheaper than my pair. Another brand that a lot of other people like to use are the ones that Ilaria likes to wear. So these are Ilaria's boots and these are Sloggers. Now you might see a lot of other channels that really like the Sloggers brand on there. They're really cute, they're a lot lower than mine. Ilaria likes them because of the derpy cows on them. They come in quite a lot of fun designs. They're not quite as functional as the bogs, not quite as comfortable as the bogs, but they are significantly cheaper than the bogs. So these are another option if this is something that you want to get into or something you want to purchase. Alright, so there you go guys. These are my top 3 farm clothes that I think are essential to every homestead. If you guys are homesteaders, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? If so, leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you're notified every time we put out a new video, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go make a tent out of this now. Seriously, it has been the rainiest spring we have ever had. And the entire week that we're supposed to shoot this video, it's calling for rain, and it doesn't rain. Yeah. Poncho!
All right.
I got hosed, Tommy.